In this episode we are going to spend 160 in-game days mining over 40,000 blocks, which is equivalent to over 50 real-life hours. And all of that just to build 3 automated farms leading to the construction of a massive storage hall using one of the newest updates, bringing back solid loan work. Just to store over 1 million blocks in my hardcore forever world. And with a look at our roadmap for this episode, let's get started. Step 1. Updating. Since the last time I updated my mods at the beginning of this journey, Minecraft has received so many cool updates. So I wasted no time and clicked through endless pages of Modrent just to update every single mod I use. Done! We are finally on 1.21.11. Step 2. Digging. Next, we need a solid spot for our automated storage room, and what could be more convenient than opening a second gate at our trading hall, after building out the first one leading to our farm tunnel in the last episode. Wasting no time, I got to work and started with the rough layout for the entrance to our future Copper Golem hall, leading into this massive 40 by 40 block chamber, spending 3 in-game days tackling the first 10,000 blocks of stone. Alright, I just finished the lower floor by digging out this massive cave while having this kind of view. Shaders are by far the best addition to this game in my opinion. But never mind, I want to show you what's next for this lower part. I will need to cover some of this exposed cave with a platform to build on later. I also already picked the center block to learn from my mistakes in episode 3, where I dug the room upwards. This time I want to set the height of the build first, then dig downwards to make it easier and save some time. While digging downwards, I realized how much of the mountain I had to remove, especially for the sorting system behind the actual walls and chests. But I knew there was no way back, so I ended up almost completely opening 2 sides of the mountain. Oh, what in the actual hell is that? Okay, I think I've heard of them, but to be honest, I've never had one in my world. Aren't the chances astronomical slim? I really don't know. Let me check. I don't know what happens when I... Oh, okay, there are more of them. Okay, what's my strategy now? Let me think for a minute. I don't know if this is the best outcome, 1 of 3 I think, but let me quickly get something to tame the skeleton horse, if that's even possible. It looks so interesting, I've never had an encounter like this. Hopefully that will work. It does, okay, thank God. You coming home with me? Okay, I grabbed the saddle and I traded this guy all the way up to get the name tag trait. Because I'm not 100% sure the horse wouldn't despawn without one, so we give it a try. After securing my first skeleton horse ever, I went back to work and started putting up some walls to close the mountain again. I thought it would be necessary to close the cave before building the inside, just to get a better feeling while constructing the storage room. This looks terrible, okay. But as they say, the journey is the reward. To quickly change this mess, I want to begin with the framework of the storage room. And for that, I will need a lot of wood. So I think it's time for our first automated farm in this video. It's going to be one of the most basic ones, but with a massive outcome. Step 3. Wood farm. I started by extending the farm tunnel by another segment to fit the entrance of the wood farm into it. I had to stop because of the lack of wood I needed for detailing, so that's another reason to quickly finish this wood farm. Speaking of that, I want to give credit to this awesome farm designed by IanX04, which provides a massive amount of wood with an easy setup, leaving the biggest part of the work to digging this 40 block deep hole to fit the farm into it. While collecting all the materials needed, I realized I missed one essential component: scaffolding. So, once again, I began a side quest, this time aiming for a jungle to find the necessary bamboo. After roaming around for almost half an hour, I was lucky enough to stumble across a jungle biome I had in mind from last time when I searched for a pale garden. Attacked by phantoms because of my lack of sleep, I collected everything I needed and went back to continue this episode. Then I realized I was also missing soul sand and kelp for the item elevator. Long story short, I collected both items and could finally begin. I am finally back at the building site after my endless travels, and I've already put all the materials needed for the farm into this chest, so the next step is building this bad boy. I started with the lower area where the trees get destroyed by the TNT, followed by the TNT duper in the upper part of the hole, and finally the whole control and storage system of this tree farm at the bottom. After finishing the basic farm, I left the detailing for later and started the first run for logs. I grabbed a good amount of bone meal my automatic farm had produced over the last couple of in-game days and got to work. And the outcome was massive, but so was the amount of bone meal I had to put in. Depending on the tree type, for every bone meal I use, I get 1 log back, which balances the farm considering my moss farm only produces around 400 bone meal per hour. In the end, I kept more than 800 spruce and 500 oak logs in my inventory. More than enough to start the next big step. Step 4. Construction. Setting the frame for this whole build with oak logs was the first and most basic step while constructing this storage hall, but it gave me the opportunity to get a first impression of the actual size and the number of the chest I could hold. I crafted over 600 chests in total, which equals 300 double chests, and started placing them between the frames on the second floor. This amount of chests will lead to a total number of over 1 million items that can be stored in this storage hall, and all of it sorted by copper golems. To fill the spaces between the frames on the lower floor, I wanted to use my favorite combination: spruce, which I had more than enough of, and deep slate, which I was currently low on. So I headed down to deep slate level and spent several minutes gathering as much as I could carry. Then I continued closing the gaps, finally getting closer to a well-designed storage hall by adding a massive deep slate staircase to connect both platforms. I added a solid floor design and started working on the ceiling and its arches. First, I covered the area above the oak frames with a combination of spruce blocks, trapdoors and the shelves that were added when upgrading my world from 1.21.8 to 1.21.11. For the actual ceiling, I used the same technique as in the trading hall, giving myself a proper grass platform to work on, finishing the main construction of the hall. For the last part of this storage hall, I wanted to add a map section right in the middle of it. Therefore, I collected some glowstone in the nether as a proper background for the maps. Oh, and please ignore the fact that I used deep slate brick stairs to reach the glowstone. I have absolutely no idea why I did that. Back at the storage hall, I laid down the base for the map and tried to place as many glowing item frames as possible, and traded as many empty maps from the villagers as they had available. Back at the storage hall, guys, with 24 empty maps. Unfortunately, my emerald storage is empty, but I want to share the moment of placing down the first and central map of this integrated map room. So let me quickly check the center of this room and discover the first map piece. Oh, that sounded satisfying. So that's the first one done, and if my calculations are right, I need about 136 maps in total, but for now the 24 maps will do. To make the best out of my emerald situation, I started traversing the area around the freshly built hall and filled all the remaining empty maps. But as I headed back to place the last maps, I ran into a strange coincidence, risking all the progress I had just made collecting them.
Surprise, motherfucker!
With this humble beginning of a map room done, it was time to move closer to the actual main part of this video, the copper golems. But before being able to place over 160 copper golems in this storage hall, I needed to smelt the required 600 copper ingots. Step 5. More farms. To be honest, I could have just set up 10 furnaces and smelted those stacks of copper in no time. But this journey is about progress and about reducing effort in the future. So I took the long route and combined 2 automated farms in one room. A fully automated smelter with a bamboo farm providing planks for an unlimited amount of fuel. Day 570 and we have finished our 4th and 5th automated farm. This auto smelter and the bamboo farm providing the fuel. So the bamboo farm is a basic design with observers and pistons. We have hoppers under the mud to collect everything, and at the bottom a crafter which converts 9 bamboo into a bamboo block with a water stream that leads to the fuel chest. Oh, and quick message from the future. After finishing this episode, I realized I could go one step further and convert the bamboo blocks into 2 bamboo planks to double the amount of fuel with one simple additional crafter. So here is the new design, and now back to Mojay from the past. And from this fuel chest, the bamboo blocks are directly loaded by this hopper cart. So I just need to grab all the copper I have farmed over the past 570 days and put it into this input chest. It gets loaded by the second hopper cart, and by flicking this lever, it fully operates the smelting process, giving me the opportunity to simply collect everything from the output chest. While waiting for 600 copper ingots to smelt, I decided to use the time to give my farms and the tunnel a complete glow up. Starting at the extended part of the farm tunnel, I continued the design all the way to the end. Driven by motivation, I decided to go all in and completely rework the farms and their visual appearance. From the mouse farm to the bamboo and the smelter to the most ambitious one, the wood farm with its massive walls. Okay, 2 hours later and I finally finished all the farms. Man, this was a hell of a ride, but I think overall it was so worth it. With a finished tunnel and a solid interior design for the farms, it's quite visitable for the future. Yeah, and these are the storage monsters I want to tackle with the new storage hall. So the moss and bone meal farm works nice and easy, but we need more storage. And now it's finally time for the daylight detector. For that, I will just dig straight up, hoping the detector catches the light needed for the pistons. I constructed the redstone setup, lost the zombie to a naturally spawned iron golem, and finally finished my plan from the latest episode. And here is our newest contestant, and we just have to wake up our subjects to see if it's working, and if so, they must go to bed immediately. Yeah, okay, so this setup is working, which means I don't have to reset the farm manually anymore. And if I'm right, the spawning will start right after they have slept. Okay, I have to extend the redstone signal on this side. And there's the golem. Okay, fantastic. No more headache. And with step 5 of 6 completed, I can finally move on to the last and most exciting one. Step 6. Copper Golem Storage System. Okay, we are back at our main build, and before going into a wild building time-lapse, I want to show you the plan for the storage system. So you already saw me placing those sections of 3x3 chests as unlimited extendable tiles. The technique I use is from another creator called Small Guy, so check him out for the original setup. We are going to make it a little bit more efficient. So we are starting by placing the 3x3 double chest, one mud block with a rail on top, and a cart placed precisely on it. It's important to push the cart slightly closer to the chest to force the golem to check those 9 chests first before checking the 10th chest, which is empty and leads to the next copper golem tile. Fences on each side, preventing the golem from wandering off. Then we spawn the golem at the top, give him a soft slap so he snaps into the cart, and push him back into position. We will take his chest and configure it like so it's only usable when filled. Okay, and I filled all of the 9 chests with a stone block so we can see how the golem works, checking every one of the first 9 chests before dropping the cards into the last chest, which transfers the item to the next copper chest. Okay, and you might think, okay, nice, but one golem? This will take days sorting multiple chests. And with this, you're probably right. That's why I combined Small Guy's setup with a design from Dash Pump 4. In his short, he shows how to stack up to 12 copper golems in one place. That way, we could speed things up to 1200%. But to be honest, because we're already almost 100 days into this episode, I decided to stop at 5 copper golems, which is actually the most efficient number. I will explain to you why when we get to the part where I show you how my input system works. To finally get started, I had to dig 5 blocks deep behind every chest to provide enough space for the copper golem setup. To save some time, here's a quick time lapse. Hallway done, let's move on to the golems. I literally spent 2.5 hours setting up 33 tiles with 5 copper golems each, wasting most of the time fighting with the golems into the cards. But in the end, I had all copper golems in their place. Before flooding the chest and my loyal labor workers with a ridiculous amount of items, I wanted to finish the storage hall itself. I added foliage to the ceiling, creating this natural abandoned vibe, followed by a matching entrance leading to the storage hall with a natural jump and run. Last but not least, I finished the entire transportation system in the background, before collecting everything I own in this world from every storage monster across the map. Okay, 2 hours of traveling across my world just to have everything in one place. But I already put the work in and pre-sorted the items in the slightest way to speed up the logistics setups in the future. But before doing that, I desperately wanted to finish the map, so I promise this is the last side quest before we go to the grand finale. This is the moment! The last map tile out of 136, meaning we can finally put our copper golems to the test. Let me quickly take those first stone blocks, put them into the shelves for a nice and clean look, and then drop all of it into the input chest. After dropping the items, they get transported to a water stream elevator leading to the main input system, consisting of 12 hoppers with multiple connected double chests to store over 50,000 items, preventing despawning while the golems are sorting. 2 hopper lines connect to the first copper chest, where the work begins for our beloved co-workers. That's also why I only use 5 copper golems. The maximum input speed of 2 hoppers equals 3000 items transported to the copper chest in 10 minutes, which is roughly the amount of items 5 copper golems can sort in the same amount of time. Besides the math, I spent the next hours assigning block types to their chest and dropping them into the system. I continued with all the remaining items, and honestly, watching those recordings is such a satisfying feeling after hours of work just for this one moment. Even though I found a new place for every item I own, I was left with over 100 empty double chests, giving a clear direction for the future episodes: collecting more items. And just like that, 160 in-game days, over 40,000 blocks mined, 5 automated farms, and a storage hall capable of holding over 1 million blocks, all built from nothing but an idea and a mountain in the way. From random lightning spawning my first skeleton horse, to 600 copper ingots fueling an army of golems, to finally watching every single item I own find its place. This episode was a grind, but it was progress. Real progress. If you enjoyed being part of this journey, make sure to leave a like. It genuinely helps more than you think. And subscribe so you don't miss what we build next in this forever world. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Cheers.